Your mind never really goes quiet. Even when the day slows down, your thoughts don't. They jump from one thing to another. Past conversations, future plans, imagined problems. And when there's finally nothing to think about, your mind finds something anyway. You tell yourself it's just how you are, a busy mind, an active thinker. But here's the uncomfortable truth most people never consider. Your mind isn't busy because it has too much to do. It's busy because it's avoiding something. Think about the moments when your thoughts get loudest. Late at night, in the shower, when you sit still. That's when your mind speeds up, not slows down. Because stillness removes distraction. And without distraction, your mind has to face what it's been running from, so it stays busy. It plans, it worries, it replays. Not to solve anything, but to stay in motion. Motion feels safe. Stillness feels exposed, and without realizing it, your mind learns a simple rule. If I keep thinking, I don't have to feel. So it fills every quiet space with noise. That constant mental activity isn't productivity, it's protection. Protection from discomfort, from uncertainty, from emotions you never had time to process. Your mind isn't out of control, it's on guard. And until you understand what it's guarding against, no amount of trying to calm down will work. To understand why your mind stays busy, you have to understand its job. Your mind isn't there to make you peaceful. It's there to protect you. And protection doesn't always look like calm. It looks like anticipation, preparation, constant scanning for what could go wrong. At some point in your life, your mind learned that being alert was useful. Maybe you grew up in an unpredictable environment. Maybe you were expected to perform, to succeed, to not make mistakes. Maybe you learned early that relaxing meant letting your guard down. So your mind adapted. It stayed active. It stayed ready. It stayed ahead. Here's the fear underneath all that thinking. Your mind is afraid of uncertainty. Not danger, uncertainty, because uncertainty means loss of control, and loss of control feels unsafe. So your thoughts try to predict everything, rehearse conversations, plan outcomes, prepare for situations that may never happen. It feels like problem solving, but it's really control seeking. And the more intelligent you are, the better you get at it. You can imagine countless scenarios. You can think through consequences before they happen. But instead of creating peace, that ability keeps your mind working overtime. Here's the paradox. The more your mind tries to control uncertainty, the less present you become. You're always one step ahead, and never where you are. Here's what your busy mind doesn't want you to notice. When your thoughts slow down, feelings come up. Not dramatic ones, quiet ones. Regret you never processed, disappointment you pushed aside, fear you never named, a sense of emptiness you didn't have time to feel. A busy mind keeps those feelings at a distance. As long as you're thinking, planning, analyzing, worrying, you don't have to sit with what's underneath. And at some point, your mind learned that this strategy works, so it stays active. This is why slowing down can feel uncomfortable instead of peaceful. The moment you stop thinking, something inside you says, don't, keep going, stay busy. Not because you're weak, but because your nervous system associates stillness with vulnerability. Here's something most people don't realize. Your mind uses busyness to regulate emotion. When things feel uncertain or emotionally charged, your thoughts ramp up. They give you something to do instead of something to feel. And over time, thinking becomes a coping mechanism. This shapes your behavior in subtle ways. You fill silence with noise. You stay productive even when you're exhausted. You avoid moments of pause, not because you love being busy, but because slowing down feels unsafe. And here's the cost. When your mind is always busy, you never fully arrive anywhere. You miss small moments. You feel disconnected even when life is going well. You're functioning, but not settling. Your mind doesn't realize that the feelings it's avoiding aren't dangerous anymore. They're old signals, unprocessed, but survivable. And until your mind learns that it's safe to feel without thinking its way out, it will keep choosing busyness over peace. Quieting a busy mind doesn't start with controlling thoughts. It starts with changing what your mind believes will happen if it slows down. Right now, your mind stays active because it thinks stillness is risky, that if it stops scanning, something important will be missed, that if it stops thinking, something uncomfortable will surface and overwhelm you. So, the goal isn't to force silence, that only makes the mind push back harder. The goal is to teach your nervous system that stillness is safe. You do that slowly. In small moments, moments where you pause and nothing bad happens. You sit quietly for a minute. You notice your breath. A thought comes up, and you don't chase it. At first, this will feel strange, even boring, even uncomfortable. That discomfort isn't failure. It's your mind recalibrating. You're showing it something new. I can stop thinking, and I'm still okay. Over time, your mind learns it doesn't need to stay busy to protect you, that feelings can rise and fall without being solved, that uncertainty doesn't have to be controlled to be survived. And something subtle changes. Thoughts slow down on their own, not because you fought them, but because they're no longer needed as armor. Your mind becomes quieter, not because life is perfect, but because it no longer believes. Constant vigilance is required. You don't lose intelligence. You don't lose awareness. You gain presence. A busy mind isn't a flaw. It's a survival strategy that stayed too long. And once you understand what it was afraid of, you no longer need to run from silence. You can finally rest inside it.